Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Monday edition of the program, Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to carry. Got a lot to talk about today. We got JC here in just a second, but a lot of stuff to talk about. Hope you had a great weekend, and we're going to go to the Titan Mar hotline, and we're joined by JC. Good morning, JC. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, QB. Good to hear from you over here. And I'm in Panama City, Florida, getting ready to head back to Gainesville. But I watched the big weekend skater sports from here. And, sad about the softball team. Very glad about the baseball team. And there's more work to do today, QB. What a weekend in Gainesville with that regional. It's just been really, really good.
Well, let's start with baseball. I was at a couple of the games, and a couple things stood out to me. First off, what people witnessed last night, and I tweeted about this, is one of the greatest accomplishments or performances I've ever seen from a Gator athlete, maybe any college athlete. Karsten Finvold, who didn't even really travel most of the year with the team, JC, had only thrown a handful of innings, comes in, bases loaded, nobody out in the first inning, and gives up nothing. And just a phenomenal. I think the fastest pitch he threw the entire night was 83 miles an hour. He threw a couple at 71. I mean, think about that. That's like middle school baseball. But the kid pitched extremely well. Oklahoma could not adjust to him. And it was just one of the most phenomenal things I've ever seen.
What I loved about it was that he basically jumped out of the dugout, ran down and warmed up, didn't know anything before the day started, might have thought he was going to get the call, but ended up getting the call, and then retired his first 16 batters. And getting out of that bases-loaded jam kept Florida's season alive, because I think if Oklahoma jumps out 5-0, something like that, it's going to be hard. But Finvold was the story. He saved the Gator season, and now they live to fight another day. It is a great story because there's another player like Finvold who isn't really one of those guys that you hear about during the year, but it came out of nowhere and ended up with quite a career. The other was Jonathan Crawford. Jonathan Crawford was a player that was basically left off the World Series roster when the Gators went last time. And now he's, he ends up being a first-round draft pick. But the story is Finvold. I'll tell you another story that I loved this weekend so far in the regional is the way that, offensively, we're getting quite the production numbers out of our guy, Thompson. And I think, I think Thompson, 3 for 4, Sterling Thompson. I mean, the guy's had multiple hit games in every game they've played this weekend. He's got multiple hit games. He's got, I think, 10 hits in the regional. He's 10 for 14. So Sterling Thompson has had quite a performance, and he also is the reason why the Gators are still alive and with the season, with a chance to move on to the Super Regionals in Virginia Tech. So I think those two guys stand out for me. Of course, Sabian with the 2 home runs, that was huge. But Finvold, like you said, what a gutsy performance coming out of literally nowhere and retiring the first 16 batters and going 9 innings. I mean, 9 innings, you don't see that often in college baseball.
Yeah, we got a couple of Facebook Lives brought to you by Meldon Law. John says Karsten Finvold was amazing, wasn't even on the travel roster and was a last resort at home games. Andy says, is Karsten Finvold's baseball is Kyle Trask? Steve said his fastest pitch was 85. His last 2 appearances have been amazing. I tweeted it. I think it's one of the greatest athletic performances I've seen by a Gator athlete ever. I mean, it's not like he started the game and did what he did. The dude came in, like you said, JC, he probably wasn't expecting to pitch, and if he was, it'd be late in the innings. The first inning, bases loaded, nobody out. So Gators play Oklahoma for a chance to go to Virginia Tech today at 1 o'clock. Here's what's crazy. I don't know if the bats are juiced or the balls are juiced this postseason play. I have never, in all the years watching college baseball, seen scores and balls flying out of the ballpark like they have this year. JC, I don't know if you saw where Oklahoma State's the 7 seed. They were at home. They were in an elimination game yesterday against Missouri State. They were down 12-0 after like 3 innings. They won the game. They won the game 29-15. Okay, those two teams. Listen, those two teams played football this year, and they scored more runs in the baseball game than they did in the more points in the baseball game than they did in their football game this year. So Michigan gets beat yesterday by Louisville 20-1. Vanderbilt scores 20-something runs.
How about Auburn? Auburn's playing football up at their regional. Auburn's playing football. I mean, I two nights in a row, 19, 20 runs, something like that. I'm with you. I don't know where this is coming from.
The balls and the bats are juiced. The balls are especially juiced. I've never seen home runs. And here's the other thing, too. It goes to show you that, people complain about Gator pitching. It's pitching across the entire country. After your starter, when you play these 3-4 games back-to-back days and these eliminations, you got dudes up there that have no business pitching, but you have to just have arms, and that's why these scores are outrageous.
Well, Florida alone this season, I think, has had the second most home runs in its program history of the program. I think that I read where the Gators have 120 home runs this season alone, and that's the second most in the history of the school. So balls are jumping out of the ballpark. There's no doubt about it.
Now, JC, I don't have it in front of me, and you probably don't either. What games, who is still having to play today to advance outside of Florida? Do you know the answer to that question?
I have it.
Okay,
right
well, tell me.
Okay, so I'll go through the entire bracket. It won't take long. Tennessee wins theirs. They are playing Notre Dame. Notre Dame won theirs in Statesboro, Georgia. Texas, the Longhorns, won their regional in Austin. They're going to play the winner of East Carolina and Coastal Carolina in Greenville. If East Carolina wins, the Pirates will host the Texas Longhorns. I almost said Rangers, for God's sake. They will host the Texas Longhorns. East Carolina, all they have to do is win today against Coastal Carolina. They host the Super Regional. In College Station, Texas A&M, they dusted off TCU. They will be hosting either Michigan or Louisville. And then, of course, we have the Florida-Oklahoma winner playing in Blacksburg against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech really had, I think, probably the easiest regional. They had Wright State, Gonzaga, and freaking Columbia out of the Ivy League, for crying out loud. So Virginia Tech gets to sleepwalk into their regional, super regional. They'll play Florida or OU. In the out west, Vanderbilt and Oregon State in Corvallis. The winner will play Auburn or UCLA. That will probably determine, if Vandy wins and Auburn wins, then it will be at Auburn. If Oregon State wins, then that UCLA or Auburn will travel to Oregon State. Then you have Southern Miss and LSU. They'll play a game, the winner to play either Mississippi or Arizona. That's the Hattiesburg and Coral Gables region. Nice to see Miami defend the home field so well down there. So now you've got Arizona and Mississippi playing Southern Mississippi or LSU. And then that regional, you mentioned the craziness between Arkansas and Oklahoma State is historic. I mean, it's crazy, those games. Those three, this will be their third meeting, and the first two were just crazy. But Oklahoma State and Arkansas will play the winner of North Carolina and VCU. And then finally, we've got in College Park, Maryland, the Terps and the Yukon Huskies. The winner will face Stanford or Texas State. So Texas State, the Bobcats, I think is who they are. They will try to upset Stanford. That would be a massive upset. I mean, Stanford comes in here ranked as the number 2 national seed. They've already got a loss. Texas State has beaten them once. So they'll try to do it again. And if they can, they'll travel to either Maryland or Yukon in all likelihood. So that's That's what we got.
Yeah, Jeff says on Facebook Live, Auburn wrapped up their region last night. So they must have had a late night game.
Okay, I must have missed that. I'm sorry. Then Auburn is waiting for Oregon State and Vanderbilt. I don't know why the NCAA.com hasn't updated its bracket online, but I didn't think Auburn lost. No, actually, I don't think that's right because Auburn, remember, they had rain. And I want to say they have 0 losses. That's true. So they still have to play one more game. Unless that game last night was the deciding game, but I thought that regional got delayed by rain. I could be wrong. Maybe he's right.
I'm not.
The website's probably wrong.
Wes has a Facebook Live question here brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner with Florida Gators. It says, Shane, why does the baseball team drink Powerade and not Gatorade? Saw it during the telecast. Great show as always. It's an NCAA tournament deal. Everybody has to drink Powerade. It's the official sports drink of the NCAA all tournaments, whether it's softball, the NCAA basketball tournament. So that is why they use Powerade in the dugouts. JC, we got a text here on the Titan MR text line from Bob. Bob says, way to go, Gators. However, I am very disappointed in the attendance at the ballpark to support the Gators. I will say this, Friday night, it was a tremendous crowd. But then Saturday and Sunday, obviously, it was not very good. And, if you look around, these regionals for the home teams that are still in it, those places are packed. I don't know if our crowd will be very good today. I doubt it, but it's a shame. It's a great ballpark, and people just didn't come out yesterday to attend the game.
I don't know. I guess most of the students are out of town. I know that, but it doesn't mean.
Well, here's the thing, JC. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
First of all, students get in free. Okay, so if a student wants to go to the game, they get in free. You're right. Most of them are gone for the summer, but majority of the people that come to Gator baseball are not students anyway.
Right. The locals, this is what you wait for all season. I mean, you're playing Oklahoma. It's not like you're playing Florida A&M. I mean, my God, you've never played I don't remember ever playing Oklahoma. I mean, this is one of those teams you never get to play. You obviously will in the future, but you don't. You haven't. And here you are trying to get to Blacksburg or the Super Regional. I don't know. Isn't it funny, though, how Florida's baseball team is going to do the same thing as the softball team if they win? They both went to Blacksburg, Virginia. I find that interesting. I just couldn't believe how easy it was for Virginia Tech, though, in that regional. You got an Ivy League team and 2 teams that nobody's heard of. I just think
Gonzaga has the best pitching staff in all of America, and they just didn't play very well. Joseph says
on Facebook, give me Tennessee staff over Gonzaga. Okay, I'll take Tennessee staff over Gonzaga.
Joseph says on Facebook, doubleheader late Sunday game, should have expected a small crowd. People got jobs. I get that. But that 1:00 game against Central Michigan yesterday, there couldn't have been 400 people in the damn building. And that was at 1:00 on Sunday afternoon. There was nobody there. Trust me. Nobody. Matt says there are a lot of people who are on vacation. I get it. But my point is, if you watch the other regionals around the country, those people don't have kids in school. Those people are on vacation too, but the places are packed. That's all I'm saying. I agree with what Bob was talking about. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC here on the Titan MR hotline. We're going to switch gears real quick. Jeff says JC's right, but Auburn is ahead 9-0 in the bottom of the 6th with cell finish today. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we're going to switch gears. As you said, softball goes down out at OKC. A phenomenal year. Nobody expected them to get to Oklahoma City. Right. I thought it was an unbelievable accomplishment. I texted with Tim. He says, we're going to get better as a softball team. And, it's going to be Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. We ran into a buzzsaw with the pitcher from Oklahoma State. She is phenomenal. And, but boy, can you imagine what OKC, that stadium is going to be like, with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State playing for the national title?
I mean, I love it, QB. I love it for Oklahoma State specifically. I mean, here's a team a school that basically the little sister or little brother of the big boys who are bolting the conference, left alone, and they win Bedlam. They win the conference championship game. They win the Fiesta Bowl. Here they are now with a chance to win a national championship against likely, well, there's no doubt they'll face Oklahoma. They just have to finish their business. But Kelly Walker, I think is her name, the lefty, that girl can keep Oklahoma State close, but Oklahoma's hitting is so good. It's just not fair, it just feels like to me. And I just don't know, even with her pitching, how close Oklahoma State can stay with them. But I think it would be great for the city, obviously. There would be a lot of interest. But the school itself, when you think about Oklahoma State University, they have been the one who's been kicking the tail of Oklahoma ever since that announcement that school was leaving the Big 12. I just think it's funny, at least in the most recent times they've played and competed against each other. So I don't know. I think that's what you're seeing. You're going to see, QB. I agree with you. I think Okie State is going to move on and beat UCLA, and I do think Oklahoma will be waiting for them, and it should be a pretty interesting. I mean, I'll watch it. There's no doubt, but I still think OU it's theirs to lose.
Oh yeah, I mean they're one of the best softball teams I've ever seen. Okay. Text here on the Titan Mar text line from Daryl. Good morning, guys. Shane, what is your opinion on the shift in baseball? I don't have a problem with it. I have zero problem with it. I know some people don't like it, but it's no different than a football team all out blitzing. You know, if you referred to Sterling Thompson this weekend having a tremendous weekend. Well, they played tons of shifts on him, and the dude can control his bat. And a couple of his hits were just away from the shift. I mean, would have been routine outs, but if people want to play the shift, I have zero problem with it.
No, it's just defense. You put 9 guys out there to defend. Doesn't matter where. I just don't think we're going to see offense. I think you're right about the offense. What you said was very intuitive because we've seen more home runs. The only time we saw more home runs from this team was in '98. The '98 team had 132 home runs. This team's got 120, and they're still playing. So they could break the record.
The ball is obviously juiced. I don't care what anybody says. It's not like one team is doing it. The entire country is bombs.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Auburn right now, you can't stop them offensively. They are right now playing like Oklahoma on the softball field. The way they're hitting the ball is ridiculous. I don't know where Auburn came from. I didn't know during the year they were this good, but they are unbelievable. Now, maybe they're just playing some weak pitching staffs and whatever you want to call it, but the ball is just flying out of the ballpark. It's crazy. So and I'm also impressed with Mississippi. Going down there to Coral Gables, I mean, did you give Mississippi a chance? This is a team that didn't play in the SEC tournament. Am I right about that?
I believe you are correct. Or they lost the first day. They were one of the last teams to get into the big dance. And now you got to remember too, JC. At one time this year, they were number 1 team in America. Them and Mississippi State. They both were number 1 at one time. So there's some talent there.
Well, actually, they still have to beat Arizona. I beg your pardon. They still have to beat Arizona, but they went down and punched Miami. I think that's hilarious to me. The Southern Mississippi LSU region has been very exciting and entertaining as well. They've had some really good baseball regionals, with the exception of that Virginia Tech one. And I think this has been good for baseball. I do. But the distribution of it, and watching it, and hearing about it's very bad. It's not good. So you can only watch 1 or 2 games. ESPN only can telecast 1 or 2. They'll show highlights of the others, but there's so many of them. I guess it's just impossible, the distribution of it all. But even finding the scores, you have to really dig deep on ESPN.com or somewhere to find the scores. But I just think that baseball is going to get better when the scholarship limits are increased. That will happen, and you're going to see more baseball players on scholarship. And I think baseball will start to really pick up. I think people love it, really. I really do, but maybe not in every location. But I think overall people do love baseball.
Yep. So today at 1 o'clock, Gators play Oklahoma for a trip to Blacksburg, Virginia. take on the Hokies. Switching gears, JC. I don't know if you watched any golf, but Billy Horschel was unbelievable this weekend.
That's a great win for him, dude. I mean, it's been a while, and he's, a former tour champion, right? He won the tour championship in the past. He's a name, and this was a huge win, I think, to bolster his. He's played well going into these tournaments. We kind of ignored him on our picks, but he's always been around the top 10, kind of sniffing around, and he really just kind of walked it through. He walked the dog up there and just left the field, and it was great. It was a great win. It sets him up for the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I mean, he hit the ball so well, and obviously he's a really good putter. You put those things together, you're going to win a lot of golf tournaments.
He's the best gator golfer we've ever had in school history, if you ask me. Most successful, anyway.
You think? Because people will probably argue with you about Calcavecchia.
Calcavecchia has won the British Open. I get that, but I think it's going to turn out, maybe this is because of timing, but it's going to turn out that Horschel wins more money. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And maybe that's just a function of the...
That's just the way
that's a function of the ball. Yeah, but still, I mean, Billy won the tour championship. They didn't have it when Cal played. But Billy's going to win a major. I believe he will. I believe he will win a major. I mean, maybe you can say Cal. I think the older Gators will say that, but I think Horschel's talent level is on par with Mark Calcavecchia every day of the week.
Yeah, Billy's a fighter. And what's cool is Billy's a volunteer and assistant coach for the Gator golf team. So one of their coaches just won a huge event. Joseph says here, speaking of golf, before we read these Facebook Lives, did you see, Dustin Johnson is going to be paid by the LIV Tour more than Tiger Woods has ever made in his career. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
He's being paid $125 million. Tiger only made $121 million as of today on his years on the tour. It's just crazy.
You're talking about the purse winning, on,
I'm just saying that I saw it. Dustin Johnson is being paid $125 million to go on that tour. Or just,
that's an appearance.
I assume he's joining that tour.
Well, that's an appearance fee. If he joins that tour, sayonara. Good luck. I mean, Kevin Na just announced his retirement. Not that he's a big name, but he is a typical, normal, everyday player on the PGA Tour, and he has just retired from the PGA Tour. I saw that. And he's going to play on that Saudi Arabia thing. Let me tell you what's going to happen, QB. These guys are going to get over there, and about 8 months down the road, they're going to have buyer's remorse, and they're going to be begging to come back. I'm just telling you, dude, you can't live over there. It's not. No. I don't think money's going to be – I don't think at some point they're all going to look each other in the mirror and go, do we really need the money? I mean, honest to God, is that really why we're sitting out here in the sandbox where we know nobody, and you're leaving the United States, the PGA Golf Tour? Really, why? So I think you'll see in about less than a year, I guarantee you something will change, and these guys will nix the whole idea of playing over there.
Asa says Billy works for free with John DuBois and some of the other Gator Golf. Yeah, he's a volunteer, as I said, volunteer coach. We got a question here on Facebook Live, JC, back to college football. He says, do you guys really think expanding the football playoff will create more parity like we see in other sports? Personally, it doesn't matter how many teams they let in. Football is a different animal. The big dogs will always eat in that sport. Oh, I can tell you right now, I can give you a list of 6 schools, maybe a few more, that are going to win the national title in football for the next 10 to 15 years. It ain't going to change. That will not, expanding it is going to bring excitement. It's going to bring more money to the table, but I think they need to expand it personally. I don't care if the 1 seed plays the 16 seed and it's a blowout. I don't care. I just think that will be great for the game. And
I think we'll know. I think we're going to know in 12 months what the 12-team playoff is going to look like. I'm telling you, it'll happen within a year. And it's all going to coincide with the new TV deals that are about to be cut. The Pac-12 is going to cut their new deal next year. The Big Ten and the SEC will follow shortly after that, along with the ACC. We're going to have more conference realignment, and we're going to have 12 teams. It's going to spread out the opportunities for these other schools, because currently you just can't work on a 5, 6, or 7 team rotating championship schedule. I just don't think that's going to be healthy. It will absolutely expand, and maybe it will bring another champion to the table. Maybe somebody else will win in an off year or something to that effect. I mean, it's possible, but you're going to see 12 teams. That's going to happen.
Right, but what I'm saying is regardless if they go to 12, 24, I don't care what they expand to, I can tell you right now, 6 to 8 schools who are going to be winning those national titles when it comes to football.
I'll tell you what, I mean, you're right. The NIL thing's going to have a lot to do with it until that gets under control. But I think it's hilarious how Ryan Day is out here, cashing checks. He's begging for $13 million from the same people he's blaming for the problem, okay? Isn't it hilarious that Ryan Day is going to go complain about collectives and then at the same time tell them he needs $13 million? You tell me what that's about, QB. The fact is that he just signed a $7 million contract. If he's trying to do a fundraise for $13 million, put the little thermometer on a cardboard, get the red ink, and put the numbers on the side and write a check, Ryan. But it's ironic that he's bitching about he's begging the same people he's bitching about. Okay. I mean, you tell me where the consistency is here. I need $13 million, says Ryan Day. Oh, wait a minute. We don't like these collectives. He wants $13 million. He says that is the amount that he needs to retain his roster right now. Correct.
Which I think is absolutely stupid.
Well, whatever it is, he's begging to the same people he's blaming. So I don't, it's. I mean, don't you find that ironic? It's almost ridiculous. I mean, to me, it's crazy.
What's crazy is we're only about 10 Saturdays away. Is that my math might be wrong? 10 to 11 Saturdays away from college football.
And I promise you on that day that Utah hits the field, not one Gator fan is going to be thinking about NIL. And we're going to start getting into the games at some point, and we'll worry about all this. As Coach says, this is the talking season, right? But in 10 weeks, like you said, nobody's thinking about NIL at that point. They're going to be thinking about, can Anthony Richardson get this damn football in the end zone? That's what Florida fans are going to be thinking about.
Well, that's all we should care about is I agree. What's crazy is I talked about this the other day with Brent Beard, JC. I don't know if you saw this. I can't remember if it was Wendy's or Athlon's. One of them came out. They had the Gators picked 4th in the SEC East. So, that's okay. QB, that's all right. I want expectations to be low, don't you? I mean, I think it makes it better, makes it almost easier when expectations are somewhat lower. I mean, okay, great. Well, let's finish behind Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia. When was the last time that happened? I think it actually will help Florida to have low expectations. And then if they can stomp Utah or beat Utah, that would get people's attention. Keep that bar low. Fine, I don't care. If Florida's going to do what Florida's going to do, Napier's going to do what he's going to do, and what people around the country think is irrelevant. I think it's good that the expectation level is low. I understand it. Yeah, and the Gators added another JUCO wide receiver to the mix. Chase, before we let you go, let's get to this day in sports. I want you to hear it. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat and schedule your air conditioners tune up today, keeping you chill in the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp Heating and Air calls today at 352-376-2366. This day in sports, in 2011, Major League Baseball draft. A lot of times you look at the draft, you never heard of these people, and they never really pan out. Well, this dude turned out to be pretty good. He was the first pick overall by the Pittsburgh Pirates out of UCLA, Garrett Cole. That's this day in sports 2011. He's pretty damn good.
Wow. I didn't know he went to UCLA. Okay, there you go. I learned something today. That Yankee pitcher staff, QB, before I go, they got 5 legit starters, and they're all throwing 7 innings or more. And these guys are not hired guns other than Cole. So I think it's a good thing. Yankees and Mets right now are the 2 best teams in baseball. I don't care what the Dodger fans want to say. The Mets yesterday split that series with the Dodgers. The Dodgers lost the series to Pittsburgh. Right now, if I had a power ranking of Major League Baseball, the 2 New York teams are 1 and 2.
Yeah. Real quick, we got a text on the Titan MR text line. Not sure who it's from, but they say, please check the ticket manager. Only 10 from Gainesville at the College World Series, please. Like you said, most UCF students were Gator fan. Not sure what that text is referring to. if he's referring to fans and from Gator fans at the College World Series, they had the same amount of fans they always do out there. And again, what's my pet peeve when games when TV announcers, and the dude said it last night. Dude goes, "Great contingent here from Gainesville." Those people ain't from Gainesville. Just because it's located in Gainesville does not mean everybody that travels there is from Gainesville.
Tim Walton's dad is not living in Gainesville, but he's there.
And none of the kids' parents that travel there are from Gainesville either. So I'm not sure what that text actually meant there. But anyway, JC, your Celtics got blasted last night.
I tell you, Golden State brought some physicality to the game that I didn't think they had. And I think, Draymond bothered Boston, and Boston had a chance in the first quarter to set the tone and couldn't pull away and get a big lead, and then Golden State just shot better for sure. Look, it's going to go 6 or 7. The networks want that. Everybody wants that. And I think that's what we're going to see. I think Golden State will get one game in Boston. Boston will win the other. It'll be 2-2 going back to Oakland. That's or San Francisco, wherever the hell they play. So, yeah.
And the Tampa Bay Lightning get a big win there at the end of the game. The West will probably end in tonight. I think the Avalanche are up 3-0. But this Tampa, they had to have that game. Do they have a chance now to tie it up tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, they scored 2 in the third period. They may have figured out something. Vasilevsky had his best game. So, it's taken them a while to get used to this Ranger onslaught. I do like the way the Rangers are playing, though. And if Tampa has to win. They have to win Game 4 Tuesday night. It's an 8 o'clock late start there in Tampa. They'll play that game. And if they can make it 2-2, that guarantees at least 6 games in the series. But right now, I think New York has shown to be the better team between the two. But Tampa got the 2 goals in the third they had to have. Otherwise, it's over. So, maybe the defending champs are going to show us why they're so great. And they have already. But in this series against New York, they have yet to do that, except for that third period yesterday when they got the 2 goals they needed to win. So the last goal coming inside of a minute. Otherwise, it would have gone to OT and anything could have happened. So Tampa better win Tuesday night, make it 2-2. Otherwise, it could be over at 5. So we'll see.
All right, JC, good stuff as always. Have a safe trip back, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
All right, see you guys. Thanks. Bye.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Going to take a quick timeout, come back, get to a bunch of these text messages and these Facebook Lives. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Ironwood Golf Course, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. Making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shops, Dave & Buster's, Regal Cinemas, Nike, Palmetto Moon, Medici's, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30, you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators come to celebrate. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. We got a text on the Titan MR text line. Don't forget, folks, today at 1 o'clock, I assume the game is on TV. It's hard to find some of these these regional tournaments on TV. But 1 o'clock, Gators play Oklahoma to advance to play Virginia Tech. Jerry says on the Titan MR text line, QB, what does softball have to do to get over the hump? Well, Jerry, it's one of the premier programs in America. Did they have a down year? I would say yes. We didn't have that dominant pitcher that we have had in the past. Speaking of defense, we didn't play our best, probably our worst defensive game yesterday. Had a couple errors, but boy, did Katie Kissler make a phenomenal play, robbing that home run. So you got to remember too, I think only 3 starters are seniors: Cheyenne Lindsay, Anna Adams, who's a premier player, and who is our Charlotte Eccles. Those are your only seniors in the starting lineup. It's a very young softball team. Tim's got a tremendous class coming in. You'll see them a lot better next year. But boy, anytime you can make it to OKC, it's a phenomenal year for sure. Jeff says on Facebook Live, Bauer was picked number 3 overall the year Cole was selected with the first pick, referring to our This Day in Sports. Andy says softball needs a premier pitcher. Yeah, I had a lot of inconsistencies there. Lexi Delbray, just her control at times is not there. John says they were both pretty good at UCLA, not bad pros. I was referring to our This Day in Sports. Hightower is a senior, John, but she was in and out of the lineup. So you're correct there. She is a senior, but I'm referring to the girls that play in the field. There's only 3 seniors. So it's a very, very young softball team. If you missed it, if you're sleeping under a rock, Gators survive, beat Central Michigan yesterday, and then have one of the greatest sports performances I've ever seen from a Gator athlete, from Carson Finval. Just unbelievable. And we'll see. I don't know who's slated to start today, but you're going to see every arm out there. I expect a high-scoring game today. It's who can score the most runs, because the pitching for both teams is basically devastated right now. So, as I mentioned earlier, high scores, home runs all over America right now. I think the balls are juiced in college baseball, or either the bats are juiced. A lot of teams have advanced. There are some upsets, and we'll see if the Gators can advance today. Robert says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, Hightower and Eccles have their COVID season in 23. I think they both used those already. They're not coming back. Greg says, strange move, pinch hitting a girl that hadn't played hardly at all in a pressure situation. Well, it really wasn't a pressure situation. They were down like 4 or 5-0. That's just, Tim does that a lot. And when, when things aren't going well, and we ran into 2 premier pitchers with Oklahoma State and UCLA. John says, Skylar Wallace had a tough day yesterday, very unlike her. I know she'll bounce back. Yeah, she's a phenomenal player. Just made an error, and it was a costly one. But she is one of the, like Tim says, probably the most talented player he has ever coached. And let's see, Jeff says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, the number 1 high school pitcher in the nation, Keegan Rothrock, is committed to the Gators. I wonder, here's the great thing, the great story about Carson Finval. He's throwing anywhere between 82, 83 to 71 miles an hour. The dude knows how to pitch. Did a phenomenal job, as we know. But I wonder if college coaches now and maybe not just because it's just one story, but maybe even Sully. You know, you need a couple guys like him on your staff. I mean, OU could not stay back, and they didn't make any adjustments really at how slow he was pitching, and it caused a bunch of pop-ups. And my point is, his location was outstanding. He mixed up his pitches. There's more to pitching than throwing 99 miles an hour is what I'm trying to get at. It's very similar to when these people watch these kids play 7-on-7 and go to these Elite 11. I don't give a damn how big a guy is, how strong his arm is. Can he play with bullets flying, with 300-pounders rushing down your neck? Can you make a split decision? Can you make good decisions? Can you throw the ball accurately? Can you throw completions? That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what you do in shorts, folks. And so that's what's great about the Karsten Finvold, is because he would be, nobody would want him if he was at a perfect game. What you call it, where you go and, you know, it's one of those camps or whatever. So, John says on Facebook, I like Riley Triloshek too. She just needs to learn how to field. Yeah, she had a rough fielding day against Arkansas in the SEC championship. Cliff says here asks on the Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, do you think the lack of fan attendance will be a factor on whether or not Sully stays at Florida? Well, there hasn't been a whole lot of talk because the Gators are still playing, but we do know Clemson is open. I don't know. For the people that want to say that the game was at this time, late night, people got to work, people on vacation, those are just excuses, folks. If you watch any of the other regionals around the country, the places were packed. And it's a shame. Very much a shame. And we'll see. Robert says only Lugo, Adams, Lindsey, maybe some more had senior days at the end of the okay, well, maybe Charlotte Eccles is going to take another year, but I didn't think she was. And maybe Hightower comes back. I don't know. I'll get the answer to that from Tim Walton, though. Let's take a quick time out, come back, wrap up this Monday edition. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, Okito America, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Are you in the market to buy or sell a home? Doreen Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker M.M. Parish, will provide you with fast, friendly, and reliable service. Call her today, 352-562-1411, to help your dreams come true. Text on the Titan MR text line from Marcus. He says, lots of recruits were in town this weekend, including the kid Trayon Webb, who canceled his official visit to Tennessee. You think we got a shot at a great class in 23? Yeah, I think Billy Napier and his staff, everybody involved, have done a tremendous job. Obviously, these recruits are going to mean a lot to the program on down the road, but we'll see. I mean, these 2023 kids, you never know. They change their mind a lot. Tammy's asked on the Titan MR text line, softball is good, but we have the number one recruit coming in next year, Mia Williams. She's Jason Williams, White Chocolate's daughter, and an apparent stud. Softball will be fine. Yeah, softball's going to be fine, folks. I mean, we've been to the College World Series 11 of Tim Walton's 17 years. That's pretty damn good. Another text here on the Titan MR text line from Kyle. He says, lost in Finvold's legendary game was Brandon Sprout yelling no as Sully came out to get him Friday night. Did you ever yell at the HBC like that when you play? Oh, yeah. Me and the HBC yelled a lot at one another for multiple things. Most of it was one ear and out the other for both of us. But, yeah, give Sully a lot of credit. Stuck with him. And that was a great performance on Friday night. Anxious to see all arms are on deck. I don't know what we're going to do pitching-wise today. I mean, OU's got the same issues as we do. But 1 o'clock, they're at the Conjuring Ballpark for a trip to go to Virginia Tech and stay alive to get to College World Series. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Again, congratulations to Billy Horschel. Just a class act and a phenomenal performance. It was cool to see he and his wife and the 3 kids and everybody celebrating there on the green and getting to talk, get the handshake from Jack Nicklaus, and then going probably and enjoying the famous milkshakes there at Muirfield Village. So today's show is going to be a wrap. I appreciate everyone joining, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about tomorrow too. Hopefully the Gators can pull through this afternoon. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.
Trying to get the fans fired up. 2nd down and 10. Matthews rolling to his right, in trouble, can't find anyone. Now he throws it for Harrison Houston, who makes the catch. He's in the open field. Harrison to the 20. They're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Gators!